And here we are, on time, only one live going at a time, so it's all good. All right, so how's it going, guys? Who have we got here? Mexican Spec. You're the regular first one in the room, man. Thanks for joining in. Carvo, great to have you here, man. Big storm, huh? Well, we'll make the most of you while we got you, man. How about that? Do you have your umbrella ready? Yeah. Tavo, I should probably just run the generator now. Well, possibly, yeah. Jeff Hutchins, welcome along. Good to have you here. Chris Freemesser, good to have you here as well. Roy Miller, welcome along. Paul Funk, good evening, everyone. Don't forget to hit the like button. This is true. Don't forget to hit the like button. It all helps. Every little bit of it helps. Chris Freemesser, hola, mi amigo. How's that sound with a Kiwi accent? Hola. Is it hola? And it's hola. Hola, isn't it? Hola. Something like that. Mi amigo. So cheers. Cheers, guys. What's been happening? What's new in the H is science? It's hola. Okay. I should know that. I had to watch a few episodes of when my daughter was little. Dora the Explorer. Yeah. There was this. Yeah. Tough, scratchy old car guy watching Dora the Explorer. What are you going to do? What you do for your kids, huh? Right. Well, okay, what's happening in mine? Well, Casper's gone. Mexican Spec, so your daughter speaks fluent Spanish. She does speak a little, but it's serious, genuinely a little. Yeah. She's got quite a few Hispanic friends, and I know she picks up a little bit from them, and she learned a bit in school and stuff like that as well. So, yeah. Chris Freeman, Dora the Explorer, I could handle. Blue's Clues, not so much. Oh no, he was just irritating, that guy, wasn't he? Yeah, that just it was like chalk on a blackboard, that guy. But the kids loved him, and I'm sure he made a lot more than we do. So, what you gonna do? Mexican Spec. Blue's Clues was meant to watch on meant to be watched on drugs. Yeah, you might be into something. Todd Denio. Hey, welcome along, man. From Minnesota. You getting a bit of snow there still, mate? Mexican Spec. Did Diego's teach more Spanish than... Oh, mate, you're asking the wrong person. I don't know. SpongeBob was awesome. Yeah. Yes. How's that marlin coming along, Todd? Have you? I did catch your email, and man, it's just been insanely. I mean, I probably say that most weeks, don't I? It's insanely busy. I was extremely busy and extremely worn out last week, thrashing on Casper to get that ready to go. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know whether it showed in that little wee video I did of it leaving, but I was pretty shattered. I'd been there since 6 a.m. that day, and trying to get it, everything ticked off the list. And yeah, long days last week, but I got to give them a big invoice, so that helped. Jeff Hutchins, SpongeBob was tolerable, even funny sometimes. Yeah. Yes. I nicknamed my mother-in-law SpongeBob, just being cheeky, and that yeah, she didn't really care for it, but her kids thought that was pretty funny. How to endear yourself to your mother-in-law, right? There you go. How to win friends and influence people by Kiwi. Mexican Spec. Jeff Hutchins, you will need the Spanish to read the owner's manual on the Ram Charger you're going to buy. Yes, that's probably true. Gosh, that Dodge I had, that 2008, was made in Mexico. Mexican spec. SpongeBob was not my generation. Thank whoever. Yeah. Jeff Hutchins, Sesame Street to learn Spanish. Yeah, that was. I do remember Sesame Street. Luckily, I was a little too old for it, but yeah, no, not one of my favourite memories. I was more of a Thunderbirds guy, that kind of thing, Captain Scarlet and things like that. Tavo's away. I think he's been playing on his computer. I don't know that Tavo actually speaks that good of Spanish. I think that's a little bit like his upside down typing. He's found an app somewhere. But I might be wrong. You guys just chat amongst yourself in Spanish, and I'll just sit here looking stupid. How about that? Mexican Kiwi. The 99 Ram Charger was made only to be sold in Mexico, so it's all in Spanish. Okay. It was only meant to be sold in Mexico. Why was that? Now, Todd denied, Chris, I can't send you the video and I need a different fuel pump because the previous owner bought the wrong one. But I've had the Marlin running on the float bowls and it runs awesome. Well, that's great, man. That's cool. That's very good. So, well, hopefully you can find the correct mechanical one, because I'm not necessarily a fan of just taking the easy route and sticking an electric fuel pump in it somewhere. Nothing wrong. Like, mechanical pumps are awesome, in my opinion, and quiet and just made for that car and that carburetor, and they're good. Charles Dalton, hi all, sorry I'm late. Mate, it's only 8 minutes past 7, so you're that's within the window of acceptability, so you're all good. Chris Freeman said, I can chat in broken German if anyone's Mexican spec. Try to pronounce the words Kiwi, that is entertainment. I'm sure it probably is. Tavo. Okay, here we go. No, me, Edad at Mexican spec. Okay. Yep. Very good. I am not. Phil Dodge Fury. Hey, welcome along. Good to have you here. Yeah, well, I know I'm doing good. I think the other guys are too. Todd and I, Chris, the Marlin's fuel pump is rebuildable if I can find a source for a rebuild kit. Okay. One of those ones you can actually split open. That'd be... Yeah, well, I don't know what it's like trying to find parts for those. I've never sourced a single part for one of those, so I have no clue. Tavo's on a roll. Now he's doing German. Good grief. Ich spreche Deutsch. I think that's more or less how they say it. Okay, what's this? Jeff Hutchins. I heard about SpongeBob during a 2001 NASCAR race. Somebody had him on their pit sign, and they all started talking about SpongeBob. My oldest was only a year old. I was going, who the hell is that? You found out. Chris Freemasser. Oh, no, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Oh, good grief. Paul Funk. So who made the fuel pump for the Marlin? Yeah, probably Carter would be my guess. There's a guess. They made a lot of stuff for the OE, especially back in that era. Tava, I've been taking lessons on speaking Kiwi. There you go. So part of the rehab is learning to speak different languages. That's pretty wild. Chris Freemesser, you know what the best part of German is? All numbers, no matter how large, are always written as a single word. Huh. Wow, that'd make it interesting to read. What about 1,486,000? That's a long word. Mexican speak. Come on, guys. Kiwi now lives in the US, so speak the language. Speak the language of the country. Spanish. Hey, now. No politics now. No politics. That kind of talk will get you thrown out of America next time you come in, mate. Mexican speak. Drive with misfits. I was told where his shop is. Shop iOS. His shop is the rich part of Tennessee. It's in Williamson County, which is definitely a rich county. Yeah, you're not wrong. But what you want is customers with money. Tabo, fish and chips. Fish and chips. That's how the Aussies claim we sound. The Aussies go fish, like they spell it like fish. Is like when they speak in their Aussie accent, it sounds like you would spell it Feesh, like fish and chips. So it would be Cheeps. So yeah, that's a tough call as to who sounds weirder. Jeff Hutchins, I definitely found out my oldest is 25 now. Him and the other 3 kids still laugh about SpongeBob experiences. Oh, my dear. Todd Denio, I'm doing pretty good today, except for having the wrong fuel pump. Oh, that sucks. Mexican speak. That is not politics. That is the truth. The most common name for a male baby is Jose. Really? See, I know how to pronounce that, Jose. The most common name for a male baby is Jose. What, in America? Wow. And I don't mean that to sound like that's a bad thing. It's not. It's just a name. But obviously, I'd expect that in Mexico. Yeah, that's a little surprising in the States. With all with the population spread that there is. Charles Dalton, my favourite part of German is the fact the rules of spelling are inflexible, not like English, where every rule has an exception or 7. That's very true. That's very true. David Tyree, that's Auckland speak. Oh, I don't know. The Southerners sound a bit like that too, mate. Interesting. Mexican speak. Spanish is the same. Each letter has one pronunciation. That is how the people here can say a 20-letter word. It confuses me. Mexican speak. SpongeBob is over 25 years old now. He probably is. Yeah. I know my boy watched him, and he's 20. He's just turned 28. So yeah. Yeah, SpongeBob was fairly new when I kind of nicknamed the mother-in-law SpongeBob. So, which, yeah, that all equates back to 25 years-ish. Barracuda, fish and chips. Yep, that's it. You got that spelling right, brother. That's how the Aussies say it. Been learning from Billy T. James. Oh, that's funny. He was a funny guy, that dude. He was a very funny guy. And just mercilessly made fun of the Maori, but he could because he was Maori. Charles Dalton, Mexican speak. Thank you. I did not know that both of my sons are fluent in Spanish. I am not. Yeah. Jeff Hutchins, I like Larry the Cable Guy's joke. All of these foreigners come here and take over all the restaurants. If you're going to come here, learn the language. They don't even know what a sandwich is. Yeah. Yes, yeah, that's true. Oh, Mexican speak. Times have changed. As of 24-25, Liam is frequently ranked as the most popular baby boy name in the US. Okay, often followed closely by Noah or Oliver. Okay. Mexican speak. I know zero Liams, Noahs, or Olivers. I did have a young guy kind of briefly helping out at the shop, very briefly, called Noah. That's the only one I've ever known. Gary Seniuk. What's happening with Marge? A whole lot of nothing, brother. A whole lot of nothing right now. I was on the phone with the engine builder today, and seems like they still haven't checked the replacement heads for Marge. So we're just in a holding pattern, man. Just holding a holding pattern, which is frustrating. It's frustrating for you. It's frustrating for me. But we have got a long-term project out of the shop, which was Casper, which is opening up a little more room. That red Mustang, that big block red Mustang, is going to be going home soon, and that will open up another space. And the plan is to bring Marge inside and give her a bit of love, because that engine is going to get done, maybe not sooner, but hopefully not too much later. And then, I need a nice, fresh, sparkly engine bay to put it in, which currently I do not have. So, been kind of pressing hard on the Sunbeam because it's inside and it's there, and both cards need doing. But soon enough, Marge will be coming indoors, and those spare hours that I've got, we can start doing some body work, getting that engine bay into shape, and kind of put back on all the fenders and stuff, and ready for the engine to go in. So, but as of today, not a lot happening. Sorry. Oh, getting the circle of death. Mexican speak. Are you guys getting the circle of the death? It says I'm live here. Let me just change to live chat just to make sure. Now, Chris Freemasser, the creator of SpongeBob, passed away a few years ago. I always liked watching it with my kids. The humor worked on different levels so we could both enjoy it. Yeah. Barry Cooter, there are definitely New Zealanders who say fish and chips. I'm not one of them. So that's some inter-country kind of snobbery going on there, I feel. That's okay. It's all good. Tavo, no, Mexican speak. I'm probably a drop on your end. Hopefully that's all. Hopefully you're all getting me. Now, where are we up to? Mexican speak. Driveway's Misfits. That was 8 years ago he died. Says AI. I have been ignoring SpongeBob for a long time. Mexican speak. Tavo refreshed, but it keeps happening. Wonder why. I'll deny it. I'm American. I speak English. If someone comes here, in my opinion, they need to be able to read and speak English. We shouldn't have to learn their language to cater to them. I agree. I mean, Spanish is a fairly prolifically spoken language in America. So don't necessarily agree on the Spanish, sorry. Because, there's a lot of Spanish-speaking people here, and, contrary to what some might believe, they're not all illegals, And some of them are, second, even third, probably generation Americans. So, Chris Freeman said, at our age, 8 years is a few years. Yes, sad but true. Tavo, very cute. Do you sound like John Clark? He sounded 100% Aussie. Oh, you think so? He probably did a little. I wouldn't say 100%, but yeah, definitely some Aussie twang there. But I think he spent a lot of time in Aussie too. That's where he made a living more than he did in New Zealand. Mexicans bet cartoons made for kids suck. The good ones are for both. It's been a little while since I've had to watch any kids programs, so yeah, I'm not really sure what the latest and greatest is. I know animated movies like Cars and Buzz Lightyear and all that were good movies, but I'm not too sure about the cartoons. Todd and I, if I go to another country for any reason, I will learn their language to communicate what is needed. Well, you kind of have to. You kind of have to. And some countries, if you don't at least give it a try, some places will make it fairly hard for you. They will make it difficult, even if they do get what you're trying to say. If you're not saying it in their language, they'll just plead ignorance, like not claim they don't understand you. So yeah, if you are going to go to France or I don't know, Latvia or somewhere, you do kind of need to have a bit of a grasp of their language. Tavo, we had a delivery driver, ex-New Zealander. He was near impossible to understand. No idea what part of which island he was from. I'm pretty sure people said that about me when I first got here to the States. I think a lot of people couldn't understand me. Tavo, white fella. Shit. Chris Freeman said, don't know about other Yanks, but I have a hard time with thick Scottish accent. Yeah, Scottish and Welsh. That's two. I'm pretty good at picking up English. I can understand most English accents. And Scottish, I'm pretty good at, but it does get thick to a point where I don't get it. And the Welsh that's very hard. Irish is a lovely accent, I think. But even that, the very strong Irish that's a tough call. It's tough to get. Mexicans speak. Second generation Americans speak their native language at home and English at school. There you go. And honestly, I think that's quite a good thing. Like don't desert. They should never desert their heritage. So yeah, I think that's cool. And being able to speak two languages, that's never going to penalize you in any way. If you can help your kids speak two languages, then yeah, you really should. There's certainly no penalty for that. David Torrey, John Clark, he sounded like Fred Dagg. Those that don't know, John Clark was a very popular comedian in Australia and New Zealand back, 70s or something. And he had an alter ego, kind of a little bit shades of Larry the Cable Guy, because Larry the Cable Guy is actually not Larry the Cable Guy. That's his alter ego. And John Clark's alter ego was Fred Dagg, and he was meant to be the ultimate Kiwi farmer. And yeah, very, very funny alter ego. And he did, he was hugely popular and did very well off the alter ego of Fred Dagg. And you can see a lot of that on YouTube. And the only thing I don't think it translates, figuratively speaking. I mean, he's speaking English, but it doesn't. Like if the Americans watching now go on YouTube, Fred Dagg and watch some of his little skits and stuff, I think most of it would be lost on them. You had to. That's to say, it doesn't translate. Like the humor is it's very much a Kiwi humor, and you had to be like living and be in New Zealand to follow the sense of humor, and follow the punchlines that he was making and stuff like that. But yeah, very, very talented man. Paul Funk, 4 people died because the semi-driver didn't understand the runaway truck ramp, so he crashed into a bunch of cars. Or because he didn't understand English. Yeah, well, that's a real hot potato at the moment, isn't it? Apparently they've taken a lot of commercial licenses away, commercial driver's licenses, CDLs, away from people that didn't understand English at all. Because, and I don't know what these people that couldn't speak English, I don't know what their native language was, or their home language, or whatever you want to call it. And people are very quick to hang Spanish on it, and it may not be Spanish. But yeah, there's, there's a lot. If it was Spanish, there's a lot of signage around the place that is done in Spanish and English, but not much on the interstates and the highways. It's pretty much what I've seen, and I haven't seen all of America, so I've got to be a little careful there. But what I've seen, there's not a lot of dual languages on road signs. Tavo, okay, I'll be open and upfront here. I do use Google Translate for Spanish, but I do speak just a little German, French, Italian, and Croatian. Wow, just enough to get me by if I was in the country. Wow, that's amazing. How did you come to speak those 1, 2, 3, 4 different languages, Tavo? As well as, well, you're using Translate for Spanish. But yeah, German, French, Italian, Croatian. Wow. And they're not super similar languages, I don't think. Croatian and Italian maybe, but Croatian's probably more Russian, but I'm not really sure, to be fair. Don't deny, I do understand the important words in Spanish. Cerveza? Is that right? Cerveza. Tequila, enchilada, and taco. Oh my God. Thick Welsh is fun. Well, yeah, that'd be a way of describing it. Barracuda, an Aussie workmate in Melbourne, said I sounded like one of them. Others that I worked with took the piss out of me regardless. Well, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, Australians and Kiwis or New Zealanders have been taking the piss out of each other for generations. And I actually find it, now that I've been here in the States for so long, it's getting quite hard for me to actually pick between Australia and New Zealand accents. People used to say to me, oh, they're very similar. And I mean, like, no, they're not. They're not anything like the same. But now it's like, yeah, it's your ear adjusts or changes or forgets or something. But yeah, the Aussies and Kiwis sound alarmingly similar, like alarmingly from, it's like I should know the difference clearly, and I used to, but now not so much. Mexican speak. What language did he speak? Here in Mexico, the runaway truck ramps are the same as over here, so a Mexican would have known. Yeah, and they kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one, and I you know, like the what you get in the media is often so wildly incorrect, and um, that may have been a good story to say that he was foreign and he didn't understand, couldn't read the signs, and that's why he killed 4 people. Um, and you can't believe everything you read in the media, man. You really can't. Um, I wouldn't think you'd have to drive a truck for very long here to figure out what the runaway truck ramps were for. Um, yeah, so I don't dispute the 4 people died and a semi truck ran into them, but exactly why that happened, um, that may be accurate, and equally it may not be accurate, Paul. I don't know. I'm very skeptical of what the media give us. They give us what they think we want to read. Sad but true. Andy Nicol, good evening. Good evening, sir. Good to have you along. Beagle Bob, hey, welcome along, mate. This is an untimely entrance for you, Beagle. This is like we're 32 minutes past 7, so you probably need to explain yourself, sir. Where have you been? Hopefully, it's working on your car or something actually constructive, and not watching SpongeBob SquarePants, which probably makes no sense to you as you're listening to that right now. Oh, I got behind again. It shut up the page. Yeah, where did it go? There we go. Now, Mexican speak. Todd Deny. Don't forget, por favor, gracias. Por favor, why? Right? Okay. Why gracias? I'm sure that I'm not saying that right. Por favor, I get gracias, but I'm not sure about the why in there. Charles Dalton, absolutely true on heritage. My grandmother was so happy when I learned German and we could speak together. She spoke German at home as a child and English outside the home. Yeah. Paul Funk, Mexican speak. I believe he was Middle Eastern. Yeah, that's okay. Well, thanks for clearing that up, Paul. That would make a little more sense. But I have to admit, I'd heard stories about a lot of Hispanics people getting shady CDLs, supposedly, and this could all be media hype and BS. I had heard about, apparently a lot of Hispanics holding CDLs, and they which they shouldn't have and weren't really up to speed with American rules. But I do think that particular demographic gets a lot of shit hung on them, because they just, I don't know, people seem to like to blame Hispanic people for a lot of stuff that's not necessarily them, and that's a classic case example. I had a car picked up or delivered not long ago on a car transporter, like a big one, like that held 6 or 8 cars, and he was very hard to understand, but he was definitely Middle Eastern-ish, and that could have been Iranian, Arabic, like he was something like that, and I'm certainly not aware of their accents, even to be able to pick where he was from, but it was that general area. But that would be more understandable. Mexican spec, Paul Funk, that might be it. They have fewer mountains there. Well, that's Mexican spec. That's very obvious statement, but you're exactly right. That's that's extremely logical of you, sir. You're absolutely right. Barracuda, some Scottish accents are very hard to understand. Indeed they are. Indeed they are. In Canada, Andy Nicol, in Canada we had red-green. What's red-green? Thomas, who we got here? Thomas Dolman. My grandmother came over from Scotland. I could understand her most of the time, but when she got angry, her brogue got very thick. I understood. Wooden spoon, though. I bet she did. And I bet she brought it out when she needed to. Yes, I can just picture that. Yeah, I just picture what, or imagine what she sounded like. Yeah, that's funny, man. Thanks for sharing that. They're all a bit different tonight. Being a first generation import to the States myself, I'll not dive into this one. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm under the same banner there, really. Being a first generation import. So does that mean you were born in the States or moved to the States? Because I guess I'm not sure what I'd call myself. Am I a first generation import? I guess I would be. Yeah, it's a delicate one. You can you've got to be somewhat introspective of like how much opinion you share when you are an import. Yeah, which is just it's really just being respectful. Like I'm still certainly, how long we've been here? 2008, nearly 20 years, but still learning. Not as much and as rapidly as the first 12 months I was here, but yeah, still learning about America and how people live and work and think, and yeah. Andy Nicol, boy, do I remember the wooden spoon. Oh yeah, they were a vital tool back then, and they probably, it's a shame they've gone away, to be honest. Sorry, my phone's buzzing. I just better check that. Mrs. Kiwi. Sorry. Now, okay. Old timer sup. Old timers aren't meant to say sup. Sup, buddy. Tabo. When John Clark was over here in Oz, he did a lot of sketches with Brian Dorr. Some were very funny. Okay, I'm not familiar with Brian Dorr, or at least I don't recall. Chris Freemaster. So how different is the sense of humour between New Zealand and the US? Not something I've ever thought about before. It's definitely different. It's definitely different. Gosh, explaining how it's different would be. It's closer to an English sense of humour. Moving here, one thing I came to realise moving to the States is that how aligned New Zealand and Australia, for that matter, are with England, as opposed to aligned with America. You can definitely tell that Australians and New Zealanders all came, not all, but the vast majority came out of England, and a lot of the colloquialisms, the expressions, are quite English. And when you come to America, it's surprising how much is really different. But yeah, it's hard to explain how the humour is different, but it's definitely different. It's kind of a drier sense of humour, I think, the English and the New Zealand, Kiwi, Australian. It's a drier. They were American, like Saturday Night Live, is a little more slapstick kind of than the English sense of humour. But there's also, it's a bit tough to say America is one type of humour because there's so much of America. But yeah, there is a difference. You can tell when you're watching a funny TV show that's American and a funny TV show that's English. You get the humor. That's really where you see the humor difference. Both are funny. They're just different. Mexican speak. Thomas Dolman, when they speak a different language, a different word for everything, it is hard to understand. I know more words after watching Outlander. There you go. David Tyree, I had a wooden spoon or two broken on my rear end. Yeah. And looking back, did we deserve it? Did you deserve it, David? I'm going to guess your answer is yes. At the time, no, absolutely not. But looking back, it's like, yeah. Oh, Mexican speak, it's frozen right now for me. Oh, I don't know what to tell you. It says it's all okay on my end. Up the top right of the screen, top left of the screen, it tells me whether I'm still live or having an issue. It seems to. But it says I'm golden. Stephen Bunkybird, welcome along, mate. Hope you are doing well tonight. I am. I think we've had about 3 comments tonight about cars, and all the rest is all sorts of stuff. Barracuda, my father's name was Jim. I remember a friend of mum's calling him Jim. Yeah, that is a Kiwi thing for sure. Tavo, definitely you're in Mexican speak, not a hint of glitch here. That is weird. Old timer, I hold rather extreme views on the invasion of people into America since 1990. Well, I'm one of them, buddy. I came over in 2008, so that's since 1990. America's never been an easy place to get into legally. I can tell you firsthand that much. It's not an easy place to get into legally. So, and when you use the word invasion, I have to assume you're meaning like illegals. And from what I understand, and again, it's what the media is telling us, so take this at face value, the majority of illegals coming into the country, and they're actually apparently coming across the Mexican border, are Chinese. So, yeah, that's something to think about. Old timer, I will leave it at that. Fair enough. I mean, we're not a political chat show, and we're not trying to solve the problems of America or the world, but we can have we can flirt with it a little, as long as nobody gets too overexcited about it. Chris Freemasser. Tavo learned those languages when he was in the trenches at Verdun. Oh, yeah, that could be. That could be. He's an old boy. Learned French at school. Tavo learned French at school. Built German buses. Nothing came with those in English. No, probably not. So he carried translation dictionaries. Had Italian friends who liked to teach, and worked 8 years with Croatians. Wow. You're not one of these guys that started at the post office when he was 18 and retired at 65 from the post office. Are you? You've been around. You've done a few things. Good on you, man. Life's about variety, brother. Todd and I, my dad drove everyone crazy. He was fluent in 9 different languages. Good Lord. I can't remember all of them he could speak, though. Wow. Wow. Morganizers, he's in the room, but he retracted his message. So hopefully he pops back in a little bit lower down when I catch up. Old timer, Kiwi and those like him get a pass. Kiwi and those like him get a pass. Make the country stronger, not scammers. Yeah, well, I mean, I tell you what, to get in here legally, you have to show that you can actually add, and I think I completely agree with it. I really do. It was expensive, and it was a hell of a process to get green cards and get in here legally. But you basically, what you say there, make the country stronger. That's what you had to show. You had to show that you had a certain level of education, that you had a certain amount of money to bring with you, because you can't drop into this day and age. Obviously, when people were emigrating from wherever into America back when it was first happening, that people were coming in with £1 in their pocket, and making their way across America. Today, in today's world and society, you need a good deal of chunk of change behind you, to just function for a few months while you actually get your feet on the ground. So, there was serious police background checks. As in, I had to get a police, so did my wife, had to get a police report out of Australia because both of us had lived there for more than 12 months at one point. Wherever, if you lived outside of the country you were applying from, which was New Zealand, if we'd lived in any other countries outside of New Zealand for 12 months or more, you had to have full detailed police reports from them. And if you had, basically, if you didn't have a squeaky clean record, you were out of luck. They were pretty tough to get us legally, and I don't have a problem with that. I think if you're going to go somewhere, you need to try and add to the country, not detract from it. I mean, and there again, we get flirting with politics a little bit, but there's refugees. There are some refugees that are special cases, but I think that is a little overdone. Josh Homan, good to have you here, man. Welcome along. Paul Funk, there are even educational videos at the way stations here in Colorado, and the runaway truck ramps are everywhere. Yeah. Morganizer T. Right, here he is. He's back. Yes, since I've been here in the US, I find it more difficult to distinguish Kiwi versus Aussies. Hearing them say six or chance helps. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some particular words that are more strongly Kiwi or Australian. Chance or chance. Kiwis managed to put like an R into chance. So we say it like CHARNCE, chance. We stretch out the A, and the Aussies are chance. They're quite, and six and sucks. Six, yeah. Anyway, hang on. Hang on, lost my place. Good Lord. One day I'll learn how not to do that. Wow, I'm way behind. Way behind. Mexican speak. Did they say what state gave him a license? Yeah. Apparently quite a few illegal licenses have been issued, if it's all to be believed. Barracuda, a lot of New Zealanders can be very funny people, but I've always thought the ones that do it professionally are usually not good. John Clark was an exception. Yeah. I'll go along with it. Mexican speaker's license was from either California or Minnesota. I can't remember which. Oh, wow. Joseph Sott, Kiwi, biggest Ford 427 problem, oiling. That's why they created the side oiler, because they have an oiling issue. If you try and turn them too hard, too fast, hard. And the cylinder head intake manifold is not the greatest design. I mean, they made good power, just not spectacular power. And that was kind of something of a restriction with the cylinder head intake manifold set layout. Beagle Bob, fighting my Mercury suspension. Not a single thing went right with compressing the coil spring. Took forever because I was being safe. Oh, fair enough. Okay, you get a pass on that then. That's all right. You're excused, sir. Driveway of Misfits. Are there any US comedians who were popular in New Zealand? Well, yes. Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, we got a lot of American humour in New Zealand. Beagle Bob, got my lawnmower car back on. We did a few laps with it. Oh, Lord. Okay. Poor Funk. I think he was from Texas. So sad he lost his brakes. Yeah, well, I mean, people. Yeah, people died. Some people. Yeah, that's something you got to remember. I'm assuming you mean the truck driver. Did the truck driver get killed as well, or was it just the people in the cars? Just. Tavo, when I collected the kid's mother and her car from Northern Territory, the servo was run by backpackers. I was served by a young French girl who seemed to struggle. I continued the transaction in French. The kid's mother just stood wide-eyed and confused. The young girl serving was full of smiles. Oh, I bet she was. Nothing like chatting up a young French girl, is there, Tavo, eh? There's still a bit of life in you yet, mate. Cheers. Barry Cooter, in my view, Australian comedians have been very good in the past. Love Fast Forward and The Comedy Company. Yeah, both were good. Todd Denier, no matter where they are from, if you're going to be driving, you absolutely need to be able to read the road signs. Yeah, agree? Todd Denier, Joseph, the biggest problem with the Ford 427 is they're so hard to find. Well, yeah. Craig Nearing, it's Tuesday again? Question mark. No, it's definitely Tuesday, mate. It's definitely Tuesday. I can confirm that. Charles Dalton, Andy Nicol. I miss Red Green. I got to see his live show a few years back. Absolutely hilarious. Red Green. Okay, I'm going to have to look that up. Todd Denier, Craig, that depends on where you're at. That's very true. It's Wednesday in New Zealand and Australia. Andy Nicol. Red Green was a Canadian comedian who portrayed the average Canadian. He was very funny. He wore plaid shirts and gumboots. Yeah. That doesn't sound too dissimilar to Fred Dagg, or also known as John Clark. But yeah, he was meant to be the, portraying the average Kiwi or the average Kiwi farmer. And that was really back then in that time, farming was really New Zealand's only export. That was a big industry. Well, still is really, but there's other industries within New Zealand that have grown much bigger as well. David Tyree, no, it's Wednesday. Barracuda, Chris F. We have generally appreciated any overseas comedy, including American, but to me, the British are the best at it. That's a hard one to argue. Yeah, it's a hard one to argue. 1998 Dodge. Hey Kiwi, when you get a chance, check out the Red Green Show. King of duct tape, Canadian humour. LOL. Okay, I will try and do that. Todd Denier, has anyone heard anything from Grandad's junk? He's usually here right away. I found he's usually here late, actually, Todd, not to be argumentative, but he seems to show up kind of more around the 8:30 mark, 8:30 Central Time, with half an hour of the show to go. Barry Cooter, tell them what a Seppo is, Tavo. Oh, dear me. It's not a nice name, put it that way. That much I can tell you. Mexican speak, no, and I don't think it was on my Sunday Live. It's a little concerning, isn't it? Tavo, Oz and New Zealand humour is based more on a sarcastic tone than you could say. you could say. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Todd and I, the best English humour was Benny Hill. That's interesting, isn't it? Benny Hill, I wasn't a huge fan of. I wasn't a huge fan of. So, but yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't even really tell you why. I just wasn't a huge fan of Benny Hill. But that's humor is so subjective. Um, you know, there's a lot of people here. A lot of people have mentioned Flight of the Conchords to me. A lot of Americans. That's a duo of Kiwi comedians, and they have this show called Flight of the Conchords. And the Americans that have seen it absolutely love it. Just think it's the best thing ever. And it just leaves me stone cold. And my wife's the same. And she's like, this is just not funny. It's not even mildly funny or not all that funny. It's just unfunny. But they have, they've done very well, which just goes to show. I only mention that because, it is so subjective. If it doesn't hit your funny bone, it just doesn't hit your funny bone. Andy Nickel, God, I remember the duct tape wallet. There wasn't a problem he couldn't fix with duct tape. There you go. Chris Freemasson, some British humour works really well here, some definitely doesn't. John Cleese had a good comment regarding how Monty Python worked in some parts of the US, but not in others. Okay. I wasn't aware of that. Hopefully you'll carry that on, Chris. Matthew Spit, I hope everything is okay with him. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Chris Freemasson, Grandad posted a ton of videos today. There you go. Joseph Sott, Kiwi the best. Well, thank you, sir. I mean, all you guys are too, so, it's all good. David Torrey, I was a little angel. Oh, my nose. Growing a little, is it? Yes. Tavo, our humour is always about taking the piss from others. Yeah, we do. We do, give each other shit a lot, and that's definitely, a part of our humour. Chris Freeman, Otago, there are places here where that kind of humour is commonplace, including around where I live. Yeah, that's the thing with America. One thing I learned fairly early on moving here is like people that had kind of heard about America or not really spent any time here would say America is this and America is that, and they would talk in a very whole terms, like all of America likes hamburgers. I'm not saying this, but for example, or all of America does things this way. America is so huge, and people don't. When you come from a country like New Zealand, you don't realise how big America is. We hear the population number. We see the map, but until you're there amongst it and you start driving around and you go, through a dozen different states, then you start to realize, holy moly, this place is absolutely freaking massive. And different states have different characteristics, and different parts of different states have different characteristics. So to start saying America is one thing or America is this or that, that's a big mistake. Because that one thing you're talking about could be polar opposite in Florida than it is from Washington. It's, to me, what I started saying was that for me, really, America is 50 different countries. It's kind of like Europe. Europe is a whole lot of countries all rolled under one banner of Europe. And to me, America is like that. It is the United States, and it is one country, but there's different laws, different rules, different customs, different accents, different everything in the different states in America. And to me, it's really like 50 different countries under the flag of the United States. You can't. That's why humor works in parts of America, and it doesn't work in other parts. Yeah. Now, David Tyree, Tarbo, Aussies and Kiwis taking the piss, never. See, I would always take the piss out of Uncle Tony, and on it, the reactions I got, people seem to love it. Because that was just that's what we do, you know. If you say something silly, you're going to get lit up about it, you know. And we all say goofy things or dumb things, or and like certainly if you do it, around a Kiwi or an Aussie, you're going to get lit up about it. They won't just kind of quietly go, oh, and not say anything. They'll go, what the heck are you talking about, you moron? Like they'll light you up, and it's and they'll laugh while they're doing it. It's but yeah, I would take the piss out of Tony whenever the opportunity came along, especially on his lives and stuff. And people just seem to eat it up. Honestly, they seem to really enjoy it, because I don't think many people did on his lives. Like it was like, ooh, Tony, 400,000 subscribers, we've got to be, respectful. And it's like, and I think I still was, but I didn't mind having a laugh at his expense. So, and that's not having a dig at him in any way. That's just my recollections of my time on his live, which was fun. I enjoyed those. I did. Barracuda, I've been binging on Harland Williams. His humour is suitably immature for me. I also like Norm MacDonald, yep. Tom Green. Yes, I've seen a little bit of him. Louis C.K., yep. A lot of Canadians are also funny. Yeah, yep. What about Matt Rife? I think Matt Rife's funny. He's a young guy, Matt Rife. There's an English guy who is I think very funny, and that's a guy called Daniel Slosh. Younger guy. I think he's Scottish. I'm trying to remember now. It's been a while since I've seen anything new from him. But he's very funny. If you're looking for a comedian, look up Daniel Slosh. He's funny. I don't know. Kiwi solving all of American problems, one wide body conversion at a time. That's right, mate. That's right. Yeah, I don't know whether I have enough time to really get it all done, but I'll try. Jeff Hutchins, I'm back. A friend came by for some venting. His mum and sisters are driving him crazy. He needed a sympathetic ear to complain to. Well, that's what friends do, brother. His mum and sisters. Oh, well, yeah, way too much estrogen in that argument, isn't there? Yes. No, that gets a little tough. I know my wife and daughter go down that rabbit hole sometimes. They get a bit pro-female stuff, and when it's the two of them against me, and it's like, okay, I'm about done here. I'm going somewhere else. Barracuda. It's interesting that Monty Python is very popular in America, but they generally don't seem to appreciate Faulty Towers. See, I wasn't a huge Monty Python fan. Bits of it were funny, but a lot of it was not funny, in my opinion. Faulty Towers I thought was hysterical. That's one of the best shows ever. Faulty Towers was so funny, according to this Kiwi. Chris Freemasson, I've done some research on this. Many countries require you to prove you are bringing needed skills with you if you want to move to another country. Yeah, many countries. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I don't have a problem with that. Whichever country it is, and it can be Croatia, New Zealand, America, it doesn't matter. They should be proud of what they have. And they should look after, their own country. They should look after their own country. And if they're going to, and there's nothing wrong with some diversity, like to bring some foreigners in, because it brings in different points of view, and it brings in a mixture, makes things a little more interesting. But they've got to have something to offer as well, like you don't want a bunch of no-hopers living off the state rocking in and just taking advantage of the system. So yeah, I think I think most countries should be proud and guard their borders. I have no issue with that. And New Zealand's let its guard down horribly and in my opinion, let a lot of immigrants in, and a lot of that just came down to money. If you had a big bank balance, in you come, welcome aboard. And most of those, a lot of them were Asian, Chinese, that kind of thing, with big bucks, and just wanted to get the hell out of the country they were in. And they, a lot of them have gone to New Zealand, and they all stick to themselves. They all have little congregations, little groups, villages within the towns of that particular nationality, whatever it is. And yeah, they don't assimilate. You want people coming into your country that have the ability to assimilate and share what they bring. Not keep it all. If they only want to associate with their own countrymen, then why not just stay in the country you were in? To me, yeah, sounding very political, isn't it? Jeff Hutchins, Barracuda, I agree with your assessment of those comedians. There you go. Slip down the page again. There we go. Found where I was. Try and speed myself up a little bit. Chris Freeman said there are areas of the country where Python doesn't do well. Not everybody here finds satire funny. Huh. Joseph Sott, you're a Ford guy. Second favourite, Mopar. 50s Mopar. 50s, late 50s, early 60s Mopar is definitely my. Probably have to be first equal. Actually, I don't even know that they would be second. Beagle Bob, do you have a new long-term patient yet? No, and not. Yeah, not. Not from a paying customer. My long-term patients are the Alpine and Marge. So there's no more long-term coming in currently, because I'm running out of time to get those two cars done. So yeah, the focus is definitely going strong on those. And even like when Swiss cheese is done and gone, there'll be no more big jobs coming in behind her until Marge and the Alpine are done. Snow Crusher, good evening, Kiwi. Hey, welcome along, bud. Good to have you here. Now, Mexican speak. I have to reset the modem. I'll be back soon, hopefully. Yeah, okay, cool. Hopefully it'll work for you. Todd Denio, driveway of Misfits, Jeff Hutchins, Barracuda. I don't know if you were here when I told Chris and everyone that I started the Marlin and it ran excellent. Yeah. So that's good news. Hopefully you'll be able to actually drive it soon. Does it have brakes and all that kind of thing, Todd? Does it actually, once you get a fuel system working, is it going to be movable? Barracuda. Speaking of John Clark, he was in a funny movie with Sam Neill, A Death in Brunswick. I remember that. Yeah, that was funny. Jeff Hutchins, red, green. If the ladies don't find you handsome, at least let them find you handy. There you go. Chris Freeman said, John Cleese everywhere except the Midwest. They definitely seem to prefer a more direct type of comedy. There you go. Phil Dodge Fury, the Mexican fireman named his twin sons Jose and Jose B. Oh, jeez. Oh, goodness. Todd Denai, Joseph, my favourite Ford engines are the 351 Cleveland 4V, Boss 302, 406, 427, 429, 460. Yep, they're the good ones. Except the 351 Cleveland 2V actually had better heads than the 4V. The 4V, they went too big in the ports, and they actually make more horsepower out of the 2V 4-barrel intake, but 2V heads, or 2 Venturi, which is like 2-barrel. They actually made more horsepower with the 2V cylinder heads. Paul Funk, truck driver, is in prison for a very long time. Yep. That's just, yeah, it's not good for anybody, is it? So why was he found like criminally responsible if his brakes went out? Was it just bad driving, or did he do something completely wrong? K. Nelson, Kiwi, are there any Holden Utes imported to the States? The Commodore SS are just so badass looking. Yes, there are. More than you'd think. There's actually a guy here in Nashville who lives about 50 minutes north of me, basically the other side of Nashville, and he imports quite a few. He's always got one for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Well, not always, regularly, I probably should say. Has them for sale on Facebook Marketplace. He brings them in, gets them kind of tagged and titled, and sells them off. And people can't get enough of them. It's not. If I had the time and the spare cash, that could well be a decent way to make a living. Especially as the dollar's favourable at the moment. But yeah, and the not a hard Holden Ute, an SS, Maloo, all those, not hard to sell in the States. Not hard at all. Todd Denai, it's a solid California car with no rust. What's it doing up in Minnesota? Very good that is from California, but yeah. Craig Nearing, how long do tyres usually last? Well, that depends on how much horsepower you apply, sunshine. But I know that's not what you're really asking. Let's see. Depending on the tyre, that's an involved answer. Depending on the tyre, well, how high performance. The high performance are the shorter distance you'll get out of them. I got on my Audi very soft, sticky tyres, and they're coming up due for replacement, and I'm on 13,000 miles. So some of that's down to the driver. And, I think other people could have probably, I think if only my wife was driving my Audi, then it probably would have got a few more miles. But, so there's that. There also is a 10-year window of use. Once they go past 10 years old, they're all date stamped now. Once they go past 10 years old, they're no longer deemed safe for the road, and none of the tyre shops will work on them. Like even put air in them. Like you go to your discount tyres or something, like, can you check my air pressures? The answer is no. They lay hands on them and help you with them in any way. They then adopt the liability. If you go down the road and the tyre lets go, you can say, well, hey, the tyre rack or whatever discount tyres, whatever, said they were okay because they check the pressures and say, yeah, that's all okay, that's good, and then suddenly discount tyres take the responsibility wholly and solely for that tyre, and they won't do it, which is Very fair, I think. And I've seen 10, 12, well, not 10, maybe not 10, but I've seen 12, 14-year-old tyres let go. It does happen, and it's just they don't age well. Here's the thing about rubber too is one thing I think we've touched on it once before here on live is the rubber just doesn't seem to last very long anymore. And now I'm talking about like rubber boots on ball joints, rubber bushings. That Swiss cheese car, right? That's got the Mustang Stafia front suspension on it, with the Mustang 2 rack in it. The bushes on the rack bushes are failing, and that car's never left the workshop. Like they're actually splitting and starting to come out of the little housing that they're in. I'm gonna have to put new rack bushes in that Swiss cheese Mustang before it leaves, and it's never driven under its own power. So they're making very cheap, rapidly degrading rubber these days. Now, Benny Hill was very popular here back in the day, Chris Freemuser. Yeah, I mean, he was, regardless of my opinion, because that's just one man's opinion. He was very, very popular, did very well-known comedian. Had his own TV shows, multiple times. And he was clearly very good. He was very entertaining. Just not for everybody, but not everybody is. Some people love Pavarotti. I'm not one of them. But, I'd love to be as wealthy and famous as he is. But, now what have we got? Joseph Sott, 406. How many are you seen in your years? Very, very, a couple. That's it. They're not a very common motor. Tavo, Seppo is rhyming slang for yank. Seppo, yank. I didn't know it was rhyming slang for yank. Huh. Jeff Hutchins, I remember Red Green cutting 2 K cars in half. He duct taped the front halves together, then used pulleys, ropes, and bungee cords to make a supercar, all-wheel drive, 4-wheel steering, 4-wheel disc brakes. Good grief. Seriously? That's wild. Todd Denier, Joseph, the one that was swapped into my brother's 61 Ford Starliner. There you go. Jeff Hutchins, the back halves he taped together and made a handy mobile garden shed. Oh, Lord. It sounds like an interesting dude. Barry Cooter, I'm with you absolutely on the Flight of the Conchords, Kiwi. Yeah, they just absolutely leaves me cold. It's like, it's not even that they're not funny, they're irritating. Like if it comes on TV, it's like, oh God, turn it off. It's bad. Not everyone agrees with me, unfortunately, but that's a pattern in my life, Charles Dalton, if I can ask, do you have the pics videos to share of the Marlin? No, Todd tried to send me some video, but it wouldn't work. I've seen some photos of it, but not video as yet. But we'll get that figured out, and I'll put something out there for it. Snow Crusher, you can't fix stupid with duct tape. No, but you can make it shut up and put it over their mouth. Craig Nearing, as a kid back in the 60s, there was a Marlin down the road from my parents' house. Oh, okay. Cool. All memories, isn't it? Barry Cooter, favourite British stand-up comedians, Jack D, Sean Locke. That's another good funny show is, what is it, 8 out of 10 Cats with Jimmy Carr and Sean Locke was in that. Jack D, I think, made some appearances too. That's a funny show. It's like a game show with comedians and hosted by Jimmy Carr, who's seems to be growing in popularity here in the States. One of my favourite all-time comedians was Billy Connolly. Yeah, very funny guy and fantastic live. Absolutely fantastic live. Been a long time, I think, since he's done any comedy tours, though. He's kind of focused more on acting these days. Mexican speak. You can drive for 2 days and still be in Texas. Exactly right, sir. Septic tank, yang. Okay, I gotcha. Sorry, I saw that right under it. Yeah, you can. Yeah, America is huge, and I can. For me, as a foreigner, I've been and visited America before. You know, when I got here in 2008, it wasn't my first trip here. But it wasn't until I was here for, it started after a month, and then after 2 months, it's really, and driving around. We were driving around a lot because we had like a fifth wheel camper, and we were touring America, and you start to realize, man, this place is huge. And you'd stop one place and another place, and then you'd see the different idiosyncrasies that different states have. It was eye opening for sure. Chris Freemus, I looked it up once. My state, New York, is roughly the same size as England. New York is the 26th largest state in the Union. 26, so it's only midway, isn't it? Like 50 states. Yeah, England is not big. It's a lot of people, very dense population. Mexican spec, adios, or you just got your machine fixed and now you're off. Okay, never mind. Oh, well, it was great to have you here while we had you, mate. So good luck, and I'll try and catch up with you live over the weekend or something. I'll try to. Now, what do we got? Jeff Hutchins, I love good-natured racial, geographical area, accent, etc. humour between people who actually like each other. Kind of like in the movie Gran Torino. When you meant it, it's not funny. When you don't, it's funny. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's certainly Australians and Kiwis are like that. We love to take the piss out of each other and poke fun at each other. And yeah, it's for the most part good humour, but there's some Aussies that really dislike Kiwis, and there's some Kiwis that really dislike Aussies, and that's their problem. They just you always find some of them. Chris Freeman, so Tony is from New York City, and New York City is the taking the piss capital of the US. Okay, interesting. Tavo, Western Australia, a state covering just over 1 million square miles. Australia is huge. Australia is actually not pretty similar size to America, but only five states, 6 states. Showing my ignorance there. 5 or 6 states. But yeah, massive piece of land. It's really a continent. It does get referred to as an island at times, and it's really a continent. But because it's one country and no other countries border onto it, it kind of gets put in that island basket, and it's really not an island. New Zealand's an island, or 2, 3 islands or more. But Australia is a continent. It's not everybody or all societies recognise it as a continent, but some do. Todd Denier, Daniel who? Daniel Slosh, 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 like water sloshing from side to side in your bathtub. Daniel Slosh. He's a younger guy, and my son actually put me onto him. And yeah, he's pretty funny. Jeff Hutchins, you and Tony together were awesome. You both took the piss well. Yeah, it was a good matchup, but shit happens. Paul Funk, I saw George Carlin live at the Paramount Theatre back in '89, I think. Yeah, he was a comedian, but he was also quite the social commentator too, wasn't he? Like some of the ways he looked at things and looked at life and humanity and society was quite deep. He was a clever man. He had an interesting view, a very good view, I think, of the world. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Barracuda. I don't get the popularity of Steve Martin, Martin Short, Richard Pryor, but they are comic geniuses apparently. Yeah, Steve Martin and Martin Short definitely leave me cold. Richard Pryor a little better. Richard Pryor was probably a comic genius. The two Martins, I'm not so sure, but again, opinion. Mostly old parts. Hey, welcome along, man. Hi, Kiwi. What are you using for a spot welder these days? Just that Harbour Freight one. And it seems to be doing the trick. You got to keep the points and spots nice and sharp. It's a little under, even though it's the 220 volt one, it's a little underpowered. But it's $150, so you get what you pay for. But for doing 20 and 18 gauge steel, it's good. 16 gauge, it's too much for it, in my opinion. And it doesn't. You start to get a few of the spots that will pop when you're trying to put two lots of 16 gauge together. It's not really up to it. If it's beautifully clean and the points are nice and sharp, and you time it right, you can get away with it on 16 gauge. But I've stopped using it on 16 gauge. I do the punch the hole, drill the holes, and rosette / plug weld it. I just don't have the faith in that particular welder. And there doesn't seem to be, if there was, I haven't looked real hard, I'll be honest, but I'm not aware of anything, in that $1,000 range, say, for a spot welder. They seem to jump from that Harbour Freight special to, multiple thousands of dollars for a fancy spot welder. And that's just for what I do and the amount that I do, that's quite a big jump for me. I wish they did like $1,000 or $1,500 spot welder. I'd buy one because I could justify that kind of money, but I'm not aware of one. Now, shut down the paging. Oh, Grandad Junk's joined us. Hey, we were a bit worried about you there, brother. Like he joined a few minutes ago. Now, where are we going here? Here we go. Jeff Hutchins, I don't get much older British humour, which is weird because my ancestry is British, Irish, Scottish. I do kind of like Mr. Bean. Top Gear had a lot of good humour. Yes, that was very funny. Monty Python, etc. wasn't for me. I get that too. Mr. Bean, wasn't a big fan of Mr. Bean. But in saying that, what was Rowan Atkinson's other... Black Adder I thought was really funny, with Rowan Atkinson, who was Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean kind of left me cold. Black Adder I thought was hysterical. Tavo, we're following the UK model on immigration presently. It's probably not good. Mostly old parts. Kiwi, you like the Virgil Exner years of Mopar? Yeah, I do. I do. Chris Freemesser, I wouldn't say the discussion is particularly political. We're just learning the differences between our countries. Knowledge is power, after all. Absolutely right. No, we've all been pretty well behaved. Actually, I think we've been skirting with the potential to head down that political rabbit hole, but we've all been well behaved and kept it light and educational, which I'm all about that. Mostly old parts. Hey, all smash that like button. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. That would be awesome. Thanks, mostly old parts. Snow Crusher, what happened to your Barracuda project? It's in the back corner of the yard, waiting patiently, possibly for a new owner. Don't know that I'm running out of time, guys. Honestly, I don't know that I'm going to get to that car, but never say never. Never say never. But if you know someone that desperately wants one, I could possibly be talked out of it. Todd Denier, Chris, yes, the Marlin has brakes and is drivable once the fuel pump is working. The fuel pump and road salt are what is preventing me from driving it. Yep. Okay. Yeah, well, don't. If it's a good, solid, rust-free car now, you stay away from that salt, man. It's brutal. But, I mean, obviously you're well aware of that. Jeff Hutchins, for me, Mopar first, then GM cars, Ford trucks, but F-150s are out after the 306 cylinder disappeared. Huh. The heavy duty Fords got to be diesels, then only up to 03, 7.3s. I do love 99 to 07 GM trucks and Suburbans. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's a little newer than my particular taste for them. 99 to 07 is they were a bit bland for me in that era, but that's okay because you love them. That's all that counts. Like, you're not wrong. That's what you like. You like what you like. Yeah, really. Once Ford went past 79 in trucks, that was the rest of them don't really rock my world. Yeah, but hey, thankfully we're all different. Joseph Zott, Sebring, great fun. Okay, never driven one. Mostly old parts at Kiwi Classics and Customs. In your opinion, what's the best factory Windsor head? I've always been told the 69 351 Windsor head. I hadn't heard that, I'll be honest with you. My understanding was these GT40P heads are the best ones, because that's from the late 90s era, not 69. The 351 Windsor in 69 probably had bigger valves than like the 302s, so that was probably the pick of the bunch in that era. But I think mine is like seems to be the most sought after one is the GT40Ps for cast iron heads. Todd Denier, Chris, yes, the 351 Cleveland 4V had huge ports, actually too big for street use. Ports and valves were the same as the 429 460. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you could rev it hard enough on a racetrack, then the 4V heads will possibly deliver you a little more power up top end. But yeah. Oh, thanks, Todd. Come on, people, hit that like button. It does make a difference for Kiwi. It just helps YouTube recognize it and promote it a little bit more, And honestly, it's not about the money. It's funny today, Steve. We did a video today on a '84 Chevy Julie 4-door 3500 truck with a camper top thing on the back of it. Big, brutal, ugly beast of a thing. But we got to talking about lives and stuff like that. And I said, let me show you what I made last week on last Tuesday's live. And he was thinking it would be $100 or something like that, and it's actually, I had a look. I hadn't looked myself, but last Tuesday's live made me 54 cents. I know, isn't that like? Actually, I'll show you guys. It's the lives are just for fun. I'm not looking for a sympathy though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I do the lives because it is actually fun. Here we go. 6 days and 9 hours ago. Not sure whether you'll. Oh, we're up to 55 cents now for last week's live. Now, where is it? Since published. I don't know how they get 81 views because we had lots more views than that. Watch time, 11.9 hours. Estimated revenue, 55 cents. Isn't that crazy? It's not worth writing the check for. But it does. It all, everything does. It just helps the channel. The more active you are, the more people watching and looking and taking part, hitting the like button, making comments. It just helps drive the channel. So it's it's kind of the bigger picture type stuff, really. Craig Nearing, tyre life in years, not miles. 10 years. 10 years is the official line. I'd go, depends. Now, they say 10 years because they've got to come up with a number and they've got to try and cover their asses as far as what's the worst conditions the tyres might live with. Those tyres in Alaska with short days and stuff like that, possibly last a bit longer than that. The cold probably hurts them. But the sun, the UV light, if your car is parked outside all day, every day, you're going to get dry rot in the tyres much quicker. So that 10-year is kind of an average, I believe, is how they work it out. Typically, most tyres will be good for 10 years. Some are going to fail before that due to dry rot. A lot are going to get worn out before that. There's not many tyres will do much more than 50,000 miles. And if you're doing less than 50,000 miles in 10 years, that's a little unusual. That's typically a hot rod or a classic car, or something that's been forgotten about and parked in the shed. So it is miles that typically wear them out, but they have, the government has made the tyre manufacturers put date stamp on them all, and the tyre companies basically take no responsibility for tyre failures after 10 years. So sure, they're covering their ass a little bit, and this is America. You have to cover your ass because somebody will sue you if you don't. But yeah, after 10 years, if a tyre blows out and you crash into 3 parked Lamborghinis and do $2 million worth of damage, it's like, don't come looking to the tyre company to help you out because they won't. Driveway of Misfits. Blue thing needs tyres already. Kev doing burnouts at Dairy Queen, no doubt. I think he was doing burnouts down at In-N-Out Burger. That blue thing has been sighted doing turns in its own length. If you follow what I'm saying, that car will do a 360-degree turn in its own length, which is quite fun, but a little hard on the tyres. what I might do actually is before I replace them, we might do a little video of getting the last $50 out of that set of tires, in a without actually travelling forwards, shall we say? I think that'll make it. That could be part of the video intros. It'd be quite good. Now, Todd and I, most of the old parts, the 93 and newer Ford Explorer heads are great. They are GT40 heads, yeah, GT40P, I think. Because those heads I got off that motor out of the Explorer, that motor for the Sunbeam, that's got cast into the heads GT40P. So I'll put those on Facebook and get rid of them. We're going aluminum heads. Josh Homan, 10 years is pretty generous for a tyre. I heard the standard was 6 years. It's my understanding that the standard is 10 years. Now, 6 years, I don't know, that could be a different state, different country. I'm not sure, or different tyre companies even. I don't know. Mostly old parts. 10-year-old tyres are suspect at best. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I had a customer a while ago, 2 years ago, with a Corvette. He lost his out of date. I think they were 14 years old. BF Goodrich TAs, cruising down the interstate at 70, and just delaminated, came apart. $9,000 worth of damage, and he didn't hit anything. The tire just tore the front fender off. It's fiberglass car, admittedly, that certainly added to the issue, but it destroyed the front fender, destroyed the rocker molding that the vets have along the rocker there. Yeah, and of course the front fender's molded into the nose cone, so it was a thing. They had to paint half the car. Well, it's not because it damaged the door, damaged the front fender, which meant they had to paint the nose cone, which meant they had to use the hood to blend into. So they were the door and the whole front half had to be painted. That's about half the car. So yeah, $9,000 later, and the guy was upset because the tires had tons of tread on them. Like, yeah, but. And believe me, there's a lot of people out there that really push back. If the tyres have got if the tyre's 3/4 worn, they don't seem to worry. But when the tyre looks like new, or has got 95% tread on it, people don't want to buy new ones. It's surprising. These ones look fine. Other people's, the people that have happened to, that must have been like their problem. Something was going on for them that's not going on with my tyres. Yeah. Craig Nearing, damn, I need new tyres already. Oh dear. What are they, 11 years old, mate? Barracuda, Kiwi, I was watching the Autotopia LA podcast, and the presenter said a hot rod shop told him that for a usual paint job, expect the materials to cost $15,000. Seems absolutely crazy to me. That's too high for materials, in my opinion. 5, yeah, I can see 5, not 15. You can pretty much get the whole car, a car, like painted for $20,000 pretty easily. Like a high end, everything stripped off it and painted, put back together, like for 20. And I know, like that's $15,000 of materials is that's people aren't doing all that work for $5,000. I'd say it's more like 5 and 15 in labour, and 5 in materials. I mean, good colour base coat will cost you, really good on a rich, strong colour. It'll be $1,000 to $1,500 for a gallon. You only need a gallon. Clear, really good expensive clear is about $600 a gallon. So let's say worst case you're up to $2,100 there. Primers, $120 a gallon. Now the most primer, I know one guy who would put on about 10 gallons of high build primer to do to block sand the hell out of it, and that was very unusual. But even that's another $1,200. So you're and then there's other bits and pieces, solvents, cleanup, catalysts, different things like that. But not 15 grand. I don't see that at all. I don't think it would be 15 grand in New Zealand dollars. I don't think you could spend that much. But it sounded impressive, right? Can't believe everything you see on TV. Paul Funk, runway truck ramps are there if you experience brake or mechanical failure. He decided to drive right by the ramp. He had ample time to direct the truck into the sand, and he didn't. Okay, I see. So, okay, so he chose not to because apparently that's quite a big deal if they go up into those ramps. It's not, you correct me if I'm wrong, because somebody told me this at some point. You don't just hook reverse in the truck and back out and carry on. Apparently, there's a lot of side effects or collateral damage, for want of a better expression, when you fire your truck up those ramps. You have to get towed out, and that's quite a big deal. Heavy salvage and all that kind of thing. And the sand absolutely gets into everything, moving parts and stuff like that. So it's quite a big deal. It's not. It is an emergency situation. You don't scoot up those ramps just if your brakes were smelling a bit hot. Like you do that, to kind of save your life or someone else's, and to hell with the expense. But I guess that guy didn't say to hell with the expense, and bad choice. Josh Homan, that's true. A tyre can look good but be complete junk. Yeah, you can't really see what's going on inside them. Sometimes you see bulges and weird shapes and stuff like that. Todd Denier, Josh Homan, my ex-wife finally bought new tyres for her Toyota Sienna. They had good tread but were getting weather checked at just 20 years old. Oh, Lord. Well, it was your ex-wife. That's why you didn't advise her to get new ones at 10 years old. You just let her keep driving them, didn't you, mate? I see how it is. Barracuda, I'm sick of hearing about parts being crap. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I honestly do. I really do believe we have ourselves to blame for it. We keep wanting stuff cheaper. We keep shopping for, if we can buy a wheel cylinder down the road for $1 less, we'll drive on down the road and get it for $1 less. I'm talking very generalized term. I don't mean you personally, Barracuda, or anyone else for that, just general terms. Like if your parts shop, parts house, Napa, Super Cheap Autos, whatever country you're in, whatever your parts house, if they're not the cheapest around, they're going to struggle. Like it's so much cutthroat costing wise. So, these companies go to China and say, hey, we need wheel cylinders, this one, and this one, but we can only pay X for it. And the Chinese go, okay, we'll make them for that. And they make shit because that's what the people ask for. And that's what the consumer asks for. How many of us go out and go to Napa and say, I want a XYZ, but I want the most expensive version of it that you have on the shelf? How many times have you ever heard anyone say that? Not that often. People typically, or more often than the other way, say, I want the cheapest one you've got. I'm selling the car in 6 months, so just give me the cheapest one. But yeah, it's a epidemic problem, the parts being crap. Yeah, Todd and I, Barracuda, I'm tired of it too, but until the quality of new parts increases, we will continue to hear about them being garbage. And my opinion, as long as we continue, and I'm talking very general terms when I say we, I don't mean everyone on this live. I just mean we as a purchasing nation or nations keep wanting, until we tell them that we want better quality and we stop buying the cheap shit. When those cheap parts start staying on the shelf and not moving, these parts places will stop buying them, and then they will stop being made. But as long as we buy them, people are going to keep making them for us. So it's kind of down to us. Look at TVs. You can buy an 80-inch TV for like $1,600 now. How good is it? They used to be like $5,000 for a 60-inch TV. It's like, and prices have gone up. And it's like, what are you getting for your $1,600 80-inch TV? Like, not going to last 20 years, is it? But yeah, I do blame us for that. We're complaining about the shit, but we continue to buy it. Mopar Man, aloha peeps, aloha buddy. Todd and I, Kiwi, have you ever heard Red Buttons and Red Skelton comedy? They were great. I know of Red Buttons. I've heard of both of them, but I haven't seen a lot of them. It's a little bit before my time, to be honest. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's it's a little bit before my time. I like Don Rickles. I thought Don Rickles was hysterical, but I think he was around that era. But for some reason, I've seen quite a bit of him, but not. And Dean Martin could be funny at times too. Like he was a singer, but. Granddad's junk. Well, yes, I'm way behind Granddad's junk. I know you've been here for probably half an hour, and I'm just off the pace, not keeping up. But yeah, good to have you along, sir. That's very cool. Where have you been? Out chopping more Remu down, or what? Now, Charles Dalton, have a great week, everyone. Calling it a night, Chuck. Yeah, well, what have we got? 7 minutes left, so I'll be calling it a night soon too, sir. Snow Crusher, Billy Connolly has Parkinson's disease. Bad. Oh, really? That sucks. That sucks. Well, Granddad's Chunk's getting all the love since he showed up here. Lots of comments. Good on you, man. Tavo, back in school days in Australia was referred to as an island continent. There, solves that discussion. There you go. Phil Dodge Fury, we had a guy in Australia who became very famous. His Tonight Show was an exact copy of David Letterman's, completely the freaking same. Wow. What's it say? Imitation's the best form of flattery? Who was that guy, I wonder? Australia. The Tonight Show. Not sure who that would have been. Didn't get to see a lot of Australian TV, of course. Matthew Ward, hi everyone. Rodney Dangerfield, Robin Williams were my favourite comedians back in the day. Robin Williams is such a unique talent. I've never heard anyone say that they didn't find him funny. Most comedians, you can find someone who will say, yeah, it doesn't do it for me. But I've never heard that comment about Robin Williams. And it's just so cruel twist of fate that he ended up taking his own life because he had all sorts of depression issues and insecurity issues and stuff like that, and yet he was just honestly, it's hard to say he was the best ever, but like he had to have been in the top 5 of all time. I don't think too many people would argue that one. Todd Denier, Kiwi, New Zealand may be the land of 4 islands, but Minnesota, shut up the page again. God damn. Halfway through. Yeah, where's it gone? Oh, I've lost it now. Good Lord. There it is. There it is. New Zealand may be the land of 4 islands, but Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes. But there's actually not true. There are actually 11,862 lakes here. Good Lord, that's a lot of lakes. Tell you what, a lot of you know I'm a rally guy from way back. Did a lot of rallying back in the day. And one of the rallies I want to go to is in Finland. The World Rally Championship, they have a round there in Finland, and that's the Rally of 1,000 Lakes. And Finland is known as the land of 1,000 lakes, but obviously that's less than 10% of what you've got there up in Minnesota. But Finland think that's a big deal to have 1,000 lakes. So there you go. A little bit of pointless information you can file away there. Jeff Hutchins, how long do tyres last? My trucks are mostly diesels with winch bumpers. All of that weight eats up the steer tyres. I'm only interested in faster cars, so for some reason the rear wear out. My KSV 9000 has a real problem with wearing out rear tyres. I think the axle might be bent and they're towing in or something. Can't work it out at all. And the tyres on the blue car are just too soft on the Audi. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Granddad's junk. Not you're answering something else there. Just can't keep up. Just got home Granddad's junk just got home 2 days ago. Having to work in the glasshouse mold is attacking. Very humid. Yes. Nice. Barracuda, years ago while I was in Dunedin, I had blue streak tyres put on the front of my VK Commodore. Blue streak, that does ring a bell. They were so grim that I got them put on the rear for the trip home. They were dangerous on the front. Oh no. Tavo, Kiwi Spot Welder is the same as mine with a different sticker. Yeah, I'd say it came out of the same factory in China and it's the same voltage, but it's the bigger one here because they have a 110 volt one here, which is a few amps. I think it's 11 amps instead of 15 amp or something like that. So it's slightly less amps and a little bit less voltage, and that's good for 20 gauge, and that's about it. But yeah. Chris Freemy said, Granddad's junk. I hope the mold hasn't got to your special greenhouse plants. Oh, I hope not. That's probably why he spent 2 days straight out there fixing it. He's probably like, oh my God. That's a problem you got to get on top of immediately, isn't it? Jeff Hutchins, Larry the Cable Guy in the old days was my favourite comedian, probably because the guy he played on stage was me. I even kind of look like him. Oh, there you go. See, I got introduced to Larry the Cable Guy when we first got here into the States, and I had that Dodge truck that we towed the camper around with, and we had Cirrus, like 6 months worth of that free Cirrus, and we would listen to that blue collar comedy like quite a lot in the car because the kids thought it was hilarious too. maybe my daughter, who was 5, not quite so much. But my boy, who was 5, he was 10. He thought it was hysterical, and we, the wife and I thought it was really funny. And we listened to that quite a bit driving around America, and never ever heard of him before that, or any of those guys. And Ron White, he's a funny guy. I like Ron White. He's if I see any of his stuff come up, I will watch that. Then my second favourite out of that lot was Bill Engvall. He's pretty funny too. Kiwi. Oh, Tavo. Yeah, it stuck. That welder stuck the roof back on my Valiant quite well, Kiwi. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of that 20 gauge stuff. So, yeah, and it's certainly got plenty enough power for that. Did you find you had to keep the points like quite sharp? So they flatten out, especially if you crank the heat into them. They get a bit softer than that with that, because they get so hot, and they'll flatten out, and then they seem to lose. For me, on my one anyway, it seems to lose the penetration if you let the points flatten out too much, and you end up with, you get down to, instead of a point, it's like a 1/4 inch diameter. Makes the spot weld look quite big, and you think, oh, that's good, but then it lacks the penetration. Granddad's junk, just a few spots. Wow. Jeff Hutchin, man, Kiwi, you're arrogant. You think you're worth more than 22 cents an hour. Now that's giving the piss, or whatever you people say. Oh, that's pretty funny, Jeff. Yeah. I'd like to think I was worth a little more than 22 cents an hour, but, like I said, I don't, and never have. And, hey, did I see Tavo dropped in? Did you slip me a $10 super chat there, Tavo? It kind of flashed up and then disappeared, and I just not sure. Was I seeing things in Tavo, or did you actually do that? I'm not sure. It flashed up and it's gone again. Try and find something that says if that happened. Tavo's a top fan. You still with us, Tavo? Oh, there it is, Tavo. Yeah, I found it. Tavo, $10 Aussie. Aussie peso should be about another 55 cents. Hey man, I appreciate that, Tavo. Thank you, sir. I certainly wasn't looking for that, but I appreciate it. That's going to be Aussie dollars. What's that about? I think it's about $7 something American. So I will buy myself a beer, and cheers to you, man. Well, peeps, what have we got? Oh, Granddad's junk questioning, guys. How hard to find slant six Barracuda 67 to 68? I've got a 67. We were just talking about that half an hour ago. It's not a slant 6 one, no. It was originally a 273. Todd deny I need to put new tyres on the Marlin. I think those bias plies are almost as old as I am, and I'm a grey beard. Mate, I'd be a grey beard if I had one. Holy car mods, hey, just joined in. Hope all is well, mate. We're about to sign off, or I'm about to sign off. Barracuda, I paid $350 each for Hankook 265 15 tyres on the back of my Valiant, out of date but still in perfect condition. The replacement cost is about $550 now. They're staying where they are. Fair enough. Were you able to get a tyre shop to install them for you? Because the tyre shops here won't do it. They won't touch them. But of course, you don't have the same liability issues in New Zealand. Now let's just shoot to the bottom of the page. Tavo. DWOMF doubled your earlier earnings first. Oh, I didn't see that either. God dang it. Why did I not see that? Well, thank you, Mr. Freemesser. Very cool. I'm not sure why I missed that. Driveway of Misfits. I didn't see where he did that. Oh, he did too. Look at that. I've seen it now. Not sure why it's showing up now. Double nothing is still nothing. Oh, no. Well, thank you guys. Like I said, I wasn't looking for a little contributions. I really wasn't, but just I don't know. It just seemed topical. It's to me, it's almost amusing that YouTube will pay you 55 cents for something. Like it's like really like. 55 cents doesn't buy you a lot anymore, but so it's like just say that we do it for free. We do it, for the subscribers. But to say they pay you is kind of false advertising, really. Mopar Man 78, and we can't forget comedian Stephen Wright. Forget? I don't know him. I'm not actually familiar with that. Barracuda, a New Zealand tyre, spelled correctly, TIRE, shops don't have a problem with out-of-date tyres. Well, that's thanks to ACC. So yeah, they won't get sued if someone hurts someone on bad tyres. All right. Well, yeah, special thanks to Chris Freemasser and Tavo, and all of you for being here, taking part, hitting the like button. We could keep talking for hours, but I've got to go to bed and be at the shop at 7 o'clock to try and get some shit done on the Sunbeam, because I haven't touched that for a couple of weeks, been so busy on other stuff. I do have a video coming on that big behemoth camper van and on a cool old F250 four-wheel drive 400 Cleveland truck. So watch out for those coming this week. Probably do one tomorrow night and one on Friday, and hopefully slip a Sunbeam Alpine V8 into the system on Sunday, maybe, if I can get enough done on this week and Saturday to make a video out of it. So thanks again for being here, being part of it all, and take care of yourselves. Do some work on those hobby cars, those hot rods. Good luck, Todd, with getting your one going. And to everyone, good night. Have a good one. And I'll see you next week. Take it easy.